Here we see the courtyard of the Namajga. It is a quite vast, and they have selected now a appropriate strategic place on a high altitude. It must be at least 80 meters above sea level. And from here, as Rajan Kirkar in another video has explained, what are the villages and locations that we could come across and we could enjoy. He has pointed out to various areas, ancient villages like Savarna, which was a Jain settlement. The Sarvan village is basically, it is Shrivana. Shrivana means sacred forest. It was a Jain settlement influenced by Jainism. There are old temples, hero stones in that Sarvana village. Then Lamgaon was famous for Buddhist caves. There was a Buddhist presence in Lamgaon. And continuously we see the mention of Lamgaon village in Maratha and Mughal history, Portuguese history also. Big mansions, palatial houses are there in Lamgaon. Big orchards, kuragars are there in Lamgaon. And this is how, means on one side Sarvana, other side Lamgaon. Then we see in the distance here the hill ranges, low-lying hills of foothills of Western Ghats, because the scarp of Western Ghats, at this side you can see bluish ridges of Western Ghat, which is an escarpment created in a tectonic shift which took place 115 million years back. The entire escarpment we call it. It is not a true range of hills. Western Ghats are not really true mountains which are created by real orogeny or uplift like Himalayas. Himalayas are young mountains, 52 million years old, whereas this ridge of bluish ridge, where I am magnifying this, you can see the crest of the Western Ghat hills which are separating Goa and Karnataka. This is Goa-Karnataka border. Beyond that is Deccan Plateau. So what is important about the crest of these Western Ghat hills is, because of the height of these around 650 to 850 meters above sea level, the Deccan lava could not flow to Goa because it was like a barrier. So it stopped where, there was a barrier, like we get Deccan trap rocks in northwest of Sattari. So that is where it was stopped. So we do not get Deccan trap anywhere in Goa because of that. So that you can see what that barrier has caused. Otherwise, Goa would have been a part of Deccan Plateau. This is the reality. So we had a natural geological and ecological barrier to stop the flow of flood basalt 66 million years ago. And this is the ridge which stopped it. And this can be seen easily from Namajga. That is the beauty of this location and place, which is totally underexploited, undermarketed, underestimated and understudied in every sense by Mughal historians in India, Mughal historians in universities, Mughal period teachers of Indian history, even local historians. They have not bothered much except for showing some interest in its novelty of architecture. They do not understand its economic, strategic. Rajan Kirkar just now explained how this whole route was connected from the sea to the Ghats through Ramghat. So he is knowledgeable because Rajan Kirkar has actually experienced all these ancient trade routes, right from Bhimgad, Ramghat, every route he has seen, and he can connect the dots and he can tell us today what is what. And that is very important because these were the ancient lines of communication from Arabian Sea. Our trade in Arabian Sea, our maritime navigation, trade and commerce, everything depended in the Indian Ocean region, and it passed through this area to the Deccan markets like Bijapur, like Kolhapur, like Badami, like Aiholi, like Bankapur, like we have Hampi. All these areas were supplied through the supply lines which passed through this area. And these supply lines and everything could be seen from the top of this hill. Mughals were not fools because they were master strategists. That is why they could defeat in 1526 and conquer India and rule for more than 300 years. So that is the reason I am here, that I was curious to know why Shah Alam, of all the places in Goa, when he had camped in Goa with his navy and army, selected this hilltop on the outskirts of Bicholim to build this mosque, which is not very big, it is modest. I think it was originally a totally private royal mosque So basically, Namazgah should be re-christianed or relabeled as the mosque of Emperor Prince Shah Alam, and not just Namazgah. This is what I feel, going back to the history of that period, Mughal period, and wars which took place between Portuguese and Mughals, Portuguese and Marathas, Marathas and Mughals. All these powers in the neighborhood region were fighting for space, for control of trade, commerce, markets, trade routes, ports and other things. So basically I believe that this spot where I am standing and taking this panoramic view of the whole area of Namazgah around me is a citadel which has seen history, a citadel which has seen Mughal royal camp. Shah Alam must have camped here. I really feel that I am going back to the period of 17th century, last decade, when Sambhaji was Chhatrapati. And I feel like they are here somewhere with their elephants, with their horses, with their all tents and their khansamahs and all the soldiers and everything. Means I could visualize the scene around 350 years back. What could have happened here? How they could have prayed, how they could have appreciated. There were no buildings here. There are very few houses. It was just like a forest all around. What could be a sunrise and sunset here? Imagine here. No photographer would leave this place. I don't think. No filmmaker would leave this place. It is such a beautiful citadel. And you get a good feeling here. I think by evening and early morning, it would be really pure spiritual place. So Shah Alam must have just gone around and on his horse, you can see he is coming here. The mosque is not yet built. Shah Alam has stopped here. Shah Alam is sitting on the horse. He is looking around. His commander, his captains are with him. And in Persian he is telling them, हमारा मस्जिद खाना यहीं बनना चाहिए, बहुत अच्छी जगह है, आप लोग यहाँ का नक्शा बनाइए और यहीं ये अच्छे तरह का एक नमाज़गाह खड़ा कीजिए. I think this is what he said to his escorts. This is how Mughals planned. And we have lost the history. We do not care for it. And the monument is very poorly maintained. And I am really hurt because of the bad upkeep of the monument. And we must change all this culture. And that's why we are here.